Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After podcast.
What's up, guys? Um, yeah, so last night we had another long episode, and this one I was a little surprised because in the sense of oh, I thought it was gonna be a double elimination because when you get the last time, then it wasn't. But good God, that last that extra 30 minutes or 22 minutes really made the episode a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Just there was a lot of great moments throughout this, and we got to see a little bit more of where a lot of people's games are heading, except for the Coco tribe, which they were briefly touched upon. It was all
Mhm.
right, Ryan's leading everyone in a group exercise, and Carla is already kind of confirming what she already said last episode.
Yeah, she let everyone know where everyone kind of lies and who she's kind of against right now, who's probably on the outs, as we then get to see the two people on the outs, Gio and Ryan, kind
Yeah.
of get their little bonding time.
Yeah, they're their bromance, and we get a bit deeper into Geo's upbringing and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely a quiet episode for the Blue Tribe. Obviously, when you don't go to tribal, you're a little less going to be seen. The Yellow Tribe though, they did get seen actually pretty well on this episode as well.
Yeah,
Definitely they want to let you know that there's a lot of important people over here for right now.
yeah. I mean, thing with Owen, it's him coming out of it. I am starting to see him sweat a little bit or a lot, and we're starting to
Hmm.
see his nerves kind of come out because his name was brought up. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of interesting things going on within that tribe, and it's
Yeah.
all right, where are the chips going to lie afterwards? And then the whole, but Ellie and what's her face looking for the idol, and then missing it. Ellie missed the
Yeah.
uh though we'll talk about the idols and stuff in a bit. And then it was oh, we don't want to do the battle of the sexes or battle of the genders, but that's ultimately what it's become
So,
on that.
yes, sometimes you gotta do that when you see a very tight pair. Sometimes it's just hey, we just gotta we can't let that tight pair get any further because if you take out one of the guys, it's now a 2-2 with a tight pair against a not tight pair.
Yeah. And then one of these people has an idol that's
Yeah.
good for the next tribal council they go to, which I think that was an interesting thing not only to include in this episode, but also to include after the immunity challenge,
Hmm.
because we never ever see that happen. I'd
Yeah.
say the only time that really ever happens is if there's something that happens afterwards, and it usually leads to an elimination on their end.
Yeah, or the reward is super important so that
Yeah,
they're having they have to kind of show it now to set up next episode or something.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, but I think that this is allowed in the 90-minute formats. I do think Survivor should take into account that this was a great episode, and a lot of it comes from the fact we got 90 minutes. We got to see everyone in some capacity again, which is always good. A lot of times those episode two, episode three, people fall to the wayside very easily. Um, and I think with 90 minutes, you're allowed to kind of show off those people a little more who would have otherwise not been included as much.
yeah. Especially because I think the Baka tribe and stuff, they do have a lot of interesting stuff moving forward
Mhm.
in regards to tribe dynamics. And then also Ellie, we got to talk about Ellie's kind of gameplay where she started off kind of strong and being okay, she is definitely going to be a strong force in this game and stuff, but we kind of see her gameplay, one going to confirm the idol and stuff like that, and then looks like next episode, Gabler will be made aware of that fact.
Yeah, well, so this is interesting because remember, it wasn't Ellie who looked for the idol and gave us back. It was Janine. And in the editing of next week's episode, he never says Ellie needs to go. He says she needs to go. Then they just cut a picture of Ellie right next to it. I suspect Janine is in trouble, actually, and they're just trying to edit it in a way to let us think that the bigger player is about to be the one going home.
That's fair. That's
Mhm.
fair. I feel like because both of them were kind of like, looking around and like the whole conversation between, wasn't it Owen, Janine, and Ellie? They were kind of
Mhm.
like all three talking about it. And
Yeah,
then when he was out, when Gabler was out fishing and stuff like that, they were like, we gotta look through, we gotta look through.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I could definitely see Janine getting targeted from that if that was just an editing trick that they were doing. Plus, she is now one of the least athletic ones, especially because Gaylor can't go home next. Um,
Not at all.
so yeah, I could definitely see Janine having some trouble if they go to tribal next episode.
No, I agree. I agree. Um, because like yeah, after that one, then Gabler is fair game again,
Hmm.
unless there's another, what is it? Another it's not dang, what is it this time? The Devil's Card, whatever. What was
Yeah,
it called?
the R have called it a Card Shark Island.
Card Shark Island.
Yeah,
Um, where, like we didn't see that this episode, which I'm fine with.
I'm fine.
Um,
Yeah, I think the least the if you can only do those kind of things every now and then, like in the premiere, like let it be like a premiere thing, and then just like let the rest of the pre-merge like not have to do that. Let us know these people. Let us get attached to these people before they get cut. Like that. That's where the game shines at its best. Not when we have all these people going to an island and be like, oh, what's this? Oh, there's this whole game, and then they spend 20 minutes figuring out what the game is.
yeah. I mean, I feel like this. No, I think I like the whole like the card game that they do and stuff. I feel like if they include it again or one or two more times, I think that'll be cool because like one thing that makes it interesting and one thing that kind of like influences the game that kind of makes like little moments interesting is when people lose their votes or have these
Mhm.
idols because then it's like another obstacle to overcome. And it also gives people advantages without a beware thing.
Mhm.
Both of which I think we can talk about the Bessie tribe. One, Dwight doesn't have a vote, and in this episode we start to see like where who's aligned with who, and then all are who's like tight with who the most.
Mhm.
Um, you know, um, the girls, Cody and NECA, and then by default, Jesse and Dwight. And
Yeah, which is
I
so
like,
interesting because it was very clear last episode that Jesse was in with Cody and NECA as like that as a pair of three, but no one else sees that. They were not able to assess that that's what was going on. So Dwight ends up feeling like, okay, well now I guess I'm with Jesse. Jesse is like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna kind of get in with Dwight so that way he's none the wiser pretty much. Like he's just trying to like cover his bases.
yeah,
Um and so yeah, we end up seeing like Justine and Noel kind of think like, oh, it's three pairs of three of two. But really it's a 3-2-1 split.
yeah, yeah. And then Justine, oh my gosh, like I know Cody, sprinkled in some doubts about Justine and stuff, but she did not help herself out uh
Yeah.
this game by
Yeah.
being like the part where she went up to Jesse and was like,
Oh,
"Hey, yeah, I don't fully trust you, so we're voting this person, right? We're voting NECA, right?"
yeah, yeah.
And
How can I trust you?
yeah, and then it's like you don't say that to someone
Right
right
before.
before tribal and all that because like right before tribal is like where everyone's scattering and stuff like that. And if you give someone any doubt and stuff, they're more likely to go to the other side. So, like, even if you have doubts about a person, don't say that you have doubts. And also,
Yeah,
don't let people know how good of a liar you are.
yeah,
Which was another reason why, Jesse didn't trust her in the first place was, she was like, oh, I have like a good real lying face, poker
yeah.
face.
Yeah, right. We're both actors. We would never go out there and say we're great actors. We would
You
never do
know,
that.
it was funny. I was thinking about this today because a little fun fact, I did earlier this week submit a audition tape to Survivor.
Mhm.
I was thinking of like, how would I approach the acting thing going out there? Because on my audition tape, I did make a big thing about like it is a pet peeve of mine when people are forced to use a different profession when they are actors and pursuing that career.
Mhm.
But the same thing, it's like, well, do I downplay my acting skills and do some like kind of like Clayface from Harley Quinn stuff where it's like overact and do this or or something like that? Or do I, like just hide it all together, even though I make it a thing in my audition tape? Not, it's all complicated.
Mhm.
Anywho, I was thinking of like, how well, because like, there are times where I could play up that, like real strong connections and stuff like that. But at the same time, that puts I guess, yes, there is like a sense of
Yeah.
disingenuousness that may come from that.
Mhm.
Or like they be like, well, they could be just a really good actor. And I'll be like, thank you, but don't vote me out. Uh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like regardless, you always have to be information is kind of like key here. And I don't think there was anything wrong to say that you were a salesperson.
Mhm.
It was just the fact that Cody was like, hey, yeah, salespeople are actually
Yeah.
really shit.
It paid off. There was a payoff to that whole thing about salespeople.
Yeah. Led to her elimination, being the first one out on her tribe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I wasn't really invested in Justine. So I
Mhm.
wasn't like, upset that she lost or anything or got voted out. She
Yeah.
did look, I will say she looked semi promising in the like, preseason and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like going hard, like, yeah, Justine or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, no, I definitely feel that. I thought she would make it like early marriage. Like I thought she was going to kind of go out somewhere around there personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so it was shocking to see her go out as the second boot, but like after like looking at everything, I'm like, yeah, she is a second boot. I see it.
Yeah.
Also on Instagram, she's like the one person who kept her account private during all of this, so she probably doesn't really care about what's going on in Survivor right now.
Uh, that's a whole other thing about private Instagram stuff. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to keep stuff private, personal life, that's what Facebook is for. Instagram is kind of more, networking. Well, on our end, it's about networking,
Mhm.
but also like, showing about like who you are and stuff like that. I don't know. Private Instagram accounts always, I'm always befuddled by them because
Mhm.
that's just me.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Justine does get taken out there. Yeah, but I do want to bring up real quick confessional accounts because I love confessional accounts on Survivor. I think it's a really good way to track like who the edit is trying to tell us is important. Can you guess how many confessionals Cody has after just 2 episodes?
39.
No, that would have been crazy. That would have been a record without a doubt.
20.
Close. He has 21 confessionals. Which by the way is more confessionals than Tori Meehan on Survivor 42 as a
And
whole.
that's a whole. Okay, okay. We're done with Tori Meehan. Okay. The only reason is maybe to compare her game to Ellie, but
Yeah.
anywho,
Yeah. Well,
uh,
I would say I looked at Survivor 42 and 41 in the first 2 episodes. No one has gotten more confessionals than Cody so far.
I mean, the thing about Cody is one, he just says the darndest things. I mean, like, and like the thing is, like, I'm starting to like him, but there was, well, I mean, like, because the living life to the fullest thing and his reasoning behind that, I
Mhm.
think it makes a lot of sense. And like, yeah, and he's just kind of like a guy that enjoys life and stuff like that. However, the one thing that kind of like made me reel back on that, where I thought he may actually get eliminated, was the Beware idol right before Tribal Council. And I'm like, you buffoon.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to defend Cody here. I'm going to defend Cody. I agree. I agree. He should have waited till after Tribal. He should have waited, get the vote in, at least get the thing, and then gone and tried to do it. Because at least then you could have a little more say in numbers. But remember Tony Vlachos in Survivor 28 constantly doing things that for most players would have ruined their game, but he works so much harder than afterwards to fix the rights and actually make it positive for him that he's able to get further in the game. And we thought Tony had no chance of winning pretty much the whole way until he wins the game. So
I would say until like 7, I was like, okay, he may actually win this thing.
yeah.
But no, I think with like Cody, it was just more so of like, this is why I'm befuddled, and I don't know what to make heads or tails of this guy, other than I think he's definitely probably the most entertaining part of this season.
Yeah.
Is like, one is like, yeah, he messed up, but he also fixed it
Yeah.
in a pretty fast manner, and like he was able to gather like his alliance members to also help him
Mhm.
out with that, to also get the others to give him their beads and stuff like that. But like the way he went about it with the hat thing coming into it, his
That's
little
so good.
visor, and then like all of that, I'm like, you yes, but also like you got it. I can't really say he got lucky,
Yeah.
because like it did require social skills and stuff to make that happen, and
Yeah.
he did it in a way that seemed natural
Yeah. It seemed
to
like
it.
Cody. It seemed like a Cody thing to do.
Yes, and I don't think anyone would have expected, outside the people that already knew, being NECA and Jesse,
Mhm.
for like, oh, let's just make the hat complete and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it seemed like a natural un um it seemed like a natural thing. And if yeah, and I think like the interesting thing was when we did see that, we were like, it's kind of like the password thing where they had last season, where it's like, what's cool about the password was when you see that payoff and actually someone doing it, it's actually pretty cool. But
Mhm.
seeing that and happening it right before like tribal council and everything, you're like, oh my God. And then also the fact that you can't miss anyone's beads
Yeah.
as well.
You have to have
I
everyone's.
Yeah, and part of me was wondering a bit if that was if let's say someone on Baka's tribe, let's say Ellie does find it.
Mhm.
Does that mean because they're down a player that they won't be able to
Yeah,
do it? Or
so that's what I noticed when they were saying it. So they have to have everyone who's present at that tribal council's beads. So if someone is gone, then that means that they don't need those beads because they're out of the game and their beads are no longer valid.
wouldn't that does that include after the fact? Like, let's say he wasn't able to, and let's say and let's say Justine just straight up didn't want to give him the beads for that,
Mhm.
but Noel did and everything like that. If Justine went home, beads intact and stuff, does that mean like he's screwed, or does that mean like now they're active at thereafter?
Yeah, so it's when you enter tribal council, you have to have everyone's beads who go to that tribal council. So he would then have to have the beads of everyone for then the next tribal council, but not just Steen's beads.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Regardless, I think that was like really cool, because like seeing that and just like it's a
Mhm.
cool moment. It was done out of like stupidity,
Yeah. Now there is going to be he's going to have to obviously wear this hat the whole time and hope that no one asks for their beads back. Because if they ask for their beads back, he's either got to be like, "Nah, this is my hat," or give him back and lose his votes.
Yeah.
um,
Well, it does. I guess like you have to like rewatch the episode because it a thing where because now that he has all beads, the like idol bracelet was activated, and then like that's activated hereafter, or is
it
it?
looks like as long as he has the idol, he has to have them for each tribal council he goes to.
Hmm,
So it almost hurts you keeping this idol because you can only have it like you don't want to constantly have to be having everyone's fees unless they literally have given you and said you can use this for your idol.
I think it's interesting because I feel Cody is definitely safe on this tribe,
Yeah,
but to
definitely.
an extent, I feel like and just kind of like how everything ended with Bessie. I feel like the next person that might go out could very well be Dwight because I feel
Mhm.
Noelle still has some longevity, especially since last challenge she wasn't in. So like
Mhm.
I knew she was safe this episode because like they're not going to eliminate someone who had like zero part in the challenge, and
Yeah,
especially it was just like
yeah.
just been, but
And we got
just
the whole
how
and we
Dwight.
got Cody connecting with Noel as well over he had a friend who lost his leg as
Yeah,
well. So I think there's a lot of like it would have put painted Cody in a bad light after hearing that, and then he votes out Noel.
yeah. I feel Cody I feel it's very possible that he can still be a pre-merge, but that's if Fessy goes to tribal council 2 more times, maybe three.
I was gonna say I think we need to see it 3 times, and even then, I actually think Jesse would go home before Cody or NECA at that point.
I honestly think if they go to tribal council next time, I feel like it might be Dwight,
Mhm.
could be NECA as well, because her performance during the challenge
Yeah,
was not great.
it was a bad performance, but this is just the case. Like they know that she's not good in challenges now. And clearly Cody and Jesse are willing to like go for
Of
bats
course.
so that way they can have that extra number.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing NECA. I think those three are the most likely ones to be the last three remaining on this tribe if there was only 3 people left.
What I think might happen though, the like reason you get Cody out, because while it was incredible, he was able to use that social skills and that all that stuff, and he was
Mhm.
able to get that because the man is reckless and almost. Well, I mean, he didn't almost get himself or get his like alliance taken out and stuff because the two girls split the votes. For whatever reason, I don't know why the two didn't come together and it's like, all right, let's both get Cody, or all right, let's get or all right, let's get NECA. Um, but it's like one of the things where if it's down to like 3 or 4, we're approaching that merge or mergatory state. It's like, can we really trust this man if he's going to see a beware thing and not think twice about, oh wait, how will this affect it? Oh wait, I
Mhm.
may lose a vote. How's that going to happen?
Uh-huh.
Do you really want to be aligned? That's the one thing about being aligned with a wild card. You don't know, even if they're a loyal wild card, what they may do that may hurt your game because they
Mhm.
decide to do something stupid.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But if you can manage to work with that wild card, sit with them at the end, so like a Nora, they might seem like too much of that wild card that it's like, well, I'm not gonna vote for them. They didn't know what they were even doing.
Well, I mean, like, I think the thing about a wild card in general, and when we're talking about moving forward with an alliance, yes, I think it's a, I think it's, I don't want to say high risk, high reward because I feel like any season, like the reward or like the pros and cons to bringing anyone, not just like a wild card, varies from season to season. But
Mhm.
like, if you have someone that is a wild card eliminating from the game makes your just entire game a lot easier moving forward
Mhm.
because that's like one variable you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, I get moving forward, but you also have to remember you want to always keep the bad players in the game, at least a bad player in the game for the sake of taking them further into the game. I mean, even Cody, like he's a great meat shield. Like I'll just say it. He's going to get attention and rack up a lot of votes in the
Yeah,
middle of the game if he gets there. And I think you want someone like that for that point of the game. I think you want to keep him just so that way he can soak up the attention, so you can kind of be playing in the background. I think that Jesse right now is going to be doing that. I think he's already doing that. Um, no one even knows. I mean, Justine at the end in the final like conventional at the end after she gets voted out says like, "Oh, it was Jesse," but like she doesn't even really realize it until after the fact. So,
yeah.
um, yeah,
I,
I think Jesse is definitely playing using Cody in the right way.
I think he is. However, I'm not gonna lie. If I was in there was a moment where I thought Cody was gonna go home for his, for that, because it's
Yeah.
like you can't trust that. And like another play Jesse could have done there was be like, okay, well, I can now I have a valid reason to get rid of Cody because I don't want to lose NECA too. And that way I still have like a solid three. I can
Mhm.
convince the other two to go for Cody, and then we have like a solid way going forward.
Mhm.
Um,
See, I guess I also am in the opinion that Jesse should really take out Noel here because I think Noel will be less likely to vote for him now at the end. So I think he should be looking at who on this tribe now after this tribal would already be like not wanting to give me a vote. And I feel Noel is more inclined to not vote for Jesse after she just lost her closest ally. And it was basically him as the swing vote. Like you kind of want to now take out Noel because of that. Um, but we'll also have to see if Dwight has a big reaction back at camp. He's another person Jesse will probably want to get rid of, depending
yeah,
on his reaction. If he's able to not be a 21-year-old who has just been betrayed and go off and just start yelling and being like, "Why did you do this?" If he's able to just be like calm and be like, "Okay, I understand. I still want to work with you. Let's keep going." He can make it further than Noel, I think. But if he does not do that, I think he's in a lot of trouble.
yeah. That's why I do think it may be Dwight, but Noel also makes sense from like a cleaner game standpoint.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, though I don't know. We'll see because it's really dependent. I mean, like this episode, I gotta say, I like the giant snakes. They were funny to me.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
then
I like this challenge. It was in Edge of Extinction too, which was a really good one. We got to see Keith be terrible at swimming in that one.
yeah, yeah, that one was I really liked it. And I think we kind of like saw here, well, I mean, because Noel sat out of this challenge,
Mhm.
it's like there always comes that thing when you do have that person that's not great at challenges.
Mhm.
Because, yeah, there was that whole incident with, oh, the missing puzzle piece that was in the bag that they didn't bring out. And it wasn't like the first thing that they weren't the only team to have like confusion with the bag because
Mhm.
Jeff said it too, I think Baka tried.
Yeah.
Um, which, so like, it goes forward where it's like, yes, numbers are great and all, but if you keep going to tribal council, your numbers dwindle.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know. I could have just been one off like bad thing where, this one it was like more so every person that's participating in the team event have to do the same thing. Whereas there was no like assigned place where it's like, all right, you are specifically on puzzles. Let the
Yeah.
physical people do their thing.
Yeah, it seemed like when they were moving, they were faster than the other two tribes when they were moving, but then they would just stop and just like waste so much time, so the other tribe would just like consistently keep going, and then they'd be like, okay, let's go, and then run really quick and then stop again, and it was like, okay,
Yeah.
there was no pacing to them. I think the pacing, and I noticed this. Cody, he tried a different technique with the snake, which I applaud you for trying it, but I don't think it was the right technique. Where he tried to literally pull, like, wrestle the snake and do one big pull all the way down. But then he'd have to like reposition and take so much time to reposition. Whereas you saw the other two tribes had someone just slowly kind of doing it like this and never had to leave the position.
Yeah.
So yet again, one was consistently able to move, and the other one was will have one huge move, but then it's gonna take some time to reset and get ready to do it again.
Yeah, this is definitely not their challenge.
Yeah.
Who knows next week how that'll because right now I feel like we all agree that Coco is doing pretty well. They've
Hmm.
been consistently killing it. Whereas the other two so far they've had one they've had one elimination each. So we'll see. Because Vessi did all right, the first two challenges
Hmm.
in the premiere. So like it's not like something where they may be screwed moving forward, but it is something where they kind of have to, like I think it really just depends because like they did well. I think like this just wasn't their challenge. This
Yeah.
wasn't, you know, where they shined.
Hmm. Yeah. I also want to bring up, do you think Carla is going to be the Sandra Diaz Twine of the season and sitting on the bench and being the bench queen of the season?
I don't think so.
Because
I feel
Coco's, I think, going to win a lot of these challenges, so I think they're almost always going to have someone to sit out. And I think, especially if they get two people, I think she's always going to be one of those two.
I I do think that, but I feel like with how fast the gameplay is and everything, it's like because usually you can't sit back to back
Mhm.
people. So I think it's
Yeah, yeah. Well,
hard to
it's reward challenges, so she'll definitely compete in rewards. But I think for immunities, I think she's going to be sitting out. And then when it's immunity and reward, you don't have to worry about sitting out back to back. You can just sit out.
uh, you know how well, I mean, both of us don't think too highly of Sandra, but so
Yeah.
I feel like she's someone I don't know, like we still need to see more of Carla. I do feel like she, is someone that is important to the season,
Yeah,
obviously.
she has the most confessionals on the blue tribe, with
Yeah.
but only with eights.
Who's in
Like,
second? Gio?
second is Ryan with six.
All right.
Yeah, Gio only has four confessionals so far.
Hmm. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I think it just goes to show it's like, like we say, and like we know all the time, it's like if you're on a winning tribe, that's a lot less screen time.
Yeah.
And a lot less strategy that you have to do because like yeah it's cool to have these alliances and stuff like that, but if you
Mhm.
don't go to tribal pre-merge, you don't really get to like really put those to the test or really think
Yeah.
about things moving forward. Right now everything is hypothetical.
Yeah, because right now the conventional count leaders are on each tribe: Ellie with 15 for the yellow tribe, Cody with 21 for the red tribe, and then yeah, Carlo with 8 on the blue tribe. So definitely a drop off there in terms
Yeah.
of who's the lead confessional counts. Um, but yeah, if we get to see them go, we can kind of see if they give us a bunch of confessionals of the blue tribe, or so sometimes even a tribe that goes like they still only will give the just that a little bit for that one section. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see kind of how they're edited a little further. So yeah.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. Gabler almost is I mean he's 100% losing that spear this season, right?
I'm like I understand not know, or like I understand going out there and being like, okay, I have a little experience using a certain, or fishing and stuff like that. But if it's a spear gun versus, a Hawaiian sling, I think in general, there are a few things you may want to learn if you're going out there, especially if you plan on, if I get a Hawaiian sling and stuff, knowing how to use it.
Mhm.
He was just doing it so awkward, just like putting it around. He's like, all right, what if I do this? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you're not going to be doing that, holding that way that entire time and swimming.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
good God. And I'm like,
At that point, you're better just doing like this and stabbing. Like that's better than what he was trying.
yeah, because it's like you're not going to get any momentum with that, especially in the water where
Yeah,
a lot harder to, it's a lot because you have that water resistance and everything. If it's
exactly.
not going to go more than like a foot on land and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that in water it's going to be much worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I feel like Gabler should have just let Sammy do it. I feel like Sammy should just fill the provider role on the tribe. I get Gabler's trying to because he's got to kind of prove himself, but so far when he's trying to prove himself that he knows what he's doing, it has backfired against him.
Oh, Gabler.
Oh, Gabler.
Oh,
Um,
Gabler.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's that. Let's see what else was on the season. Oh yeah, Ellie talking about how she was considered dumb in school for
Yeah.
not doing tests. I thought that was super relatable. I've had very similar experiences with myself of teachers thinking, "Oh, you're just stupid," like pretty much off of just like one test or off of one thing that I just didn't really do, and they're like, it becomes that preconception that a lot of people end up kind of having on you. And it's like that's not even true, but like that's just what ends up becoming like almost real in the schoolyard and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely connected a lot there with Ellie on that one.
I mean, it is a tough thing because, like, in, with school, just how most of them are kind of structured and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone is built in an academic way, and also
Exactly.
people do suffer from test anxiety and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or some people stall out under pressure,
Yeah.
and those things, it's hard, and like it takes a lot to like overcome that, and
Yeah.
especially when you're young, and especially when you don't really know yourself what's the issue.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough. And then like um one of my roommates, they bring up this like little thing all the time, and it's like, if you're judging intelligence of a fish by how well it can climb a tree, it's going to be called stupid every time because it's like just not built for that. Everyone has
Exactly.
different strengths and weaknesses, and the academic kind of like structure, well, by nature, they benefit people who are more academic,
Mm-hmm.
and where their brains are more wired in that thing.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I feel like school systems, because right now there's a lot of like trying to judge IQ and that stuff. I definitely think they should be doing a branch for EQ, emotional intelligence as well, because that's definitely something that I think a lot of people are really good and gifted, but don't ever get a chance to really use it or figure out that they're good at that because they're being told no, you're going to have to study this book that you have absolutely zero interest in, and
yeah,
some people can hear that and they say, awesome, I got it. And then other people say, why would I want to study something that I have zero interest in?
yeah, and that's fair. Like, part of the
Yeah,
reason like you and I went to a performing arts school, it's like, why would I want to spend a bunch of money on a bunch of classes that is not going to benefit me in the long run?
yeah.
Um, I'm assuming that's another reason why you did. Like that was the
Hmm.
main or one of the main reasons why I chose, performing arts, college and stuff like that, because, you know, if I had to take like an advanced math class or like a science thing, and I'm like,
Hmm.
when am I ever going to use this?
Yeah. Yeah, I purposely never got into any of those high classes because I was just like, that's just a waste of time. That
Yeah.
is literally like just taking away time that I could be doing on other things. So yeah, I knew when I was in like sixth grade that I was going into this field regardless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
Um,
I definitely related with Ellie. She's getting a lot of strategic and emotional relatable content. So definitely good for her win or equity, in my opinion.
I agree, especially another thing which I kind of related to on her backstory
Hmm.
was imposter syndrome.
Uh-huh.
Um, where despite having, a PhD, and everything, which, no matter what field you go into, the fact that you went to school for that long and earned that degree,
Yeah.
she didn't feel smart until she completed that puzzle.
Yeah.
Like, I can only imagine, like, because I'm someone who has imposter syndrome all the time.
Hmm.
Uh, and, like, so, like, to see someone who, like, in a field where, to be a psychologist and, a therapist or anything in that field, you have to be pretty damn smart because it's all about the human mind. And
Hmm.
to, like, have a high degree in there and to still, like, feel like, well, I'm not smart, like,
Hmm.
I don't know, like, I mean, like, to see kinda like the imposter syndrome in that way within Ellie, that was something that really drew me to her in
Uh-huh.
this episode.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, she's definitely someone to watch out for on this season. I know the it does try to say next time on Survivor she might be in trouble. I see zero chance of her going home next episode.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, it's a 1 of out of 3 shot that they even go in
yeah,
general.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, definitely enjoying Ellie on the season. Did not think I'd enjoy her as much as I am, honestly. I thought she would be kind of a middle of the pack kind of player. But she's definitely impressing.
That she is.
Yeah.
Alright,
Okay.
do we wanna get into MVP and LVP?
One last thing I'll want to say, Cody will not be making a hat for Justine.
Well, n nope, nope. I
There's
think,
no
like,
hat
he
making
pretty
for
much
Justine.
kinda confirmed it.
Yeah, he really did. He let us know before the edit even had a chance to do it. Like he's definitely getting Justine out of there.
I mean, just another reason why you don't wanna keep Cody around. We all know, with Keith Nail, stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan.
We don't want another version of that where, yeah, they got lucky because, Justine didn't have anything and stuff like that.
Mhm,
And, he said it during that where there was really not much he could do other than play her shot in the dark. But,
mhm.
it's something where do you do you really want someone that will kind of confirm or soft confirm someone's going home? And do you really want to go into an alliance with this man?
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel like pre-merge you can get away with it. During the merge and stuff like that, especially early game,
Mhm.
do you really want to be yeah, a
I'm
good
calling it now. Cody is winning this season.
I if he does more he does have skills. He
Yeah.
clearly has social skills
Yeah.
and, like,
The
all
reason
that stuff.
I thought he had 0% chance winning actually going into it. I thought he was just going to be a fun character. They are actually giving him a lot of relatable emotional content with him. They're giving him he's in the strategy talks as well. He's clearly being shown as like the big player on Vessi. Um
I think
like,
I
like I,
think he
I I know it sounds crazy, but we said the same thing about Tony, and he who ends up winning. I think we might be getting a Tony-esque win here.
I don't I don't want you can't here's the thing, you can't just get a Beware idol with knowing, because that was the thing. They even questioned it was
Yeah.
like,
Okay. Okay. So here's what I noticed because I was watching it a little closely. So he picks it up, doesn't actually see the Beware, and immediately unwrapped it. You can tell that the string has already been unwrapped, and then he had to go back and see, oh, it says Beware. So he had actually taken it because he was just so like, oh, there it is. So even though I understand like he should have waited, like he should have seen Beware first, then waited, I think he just ended up opening it and didn't actually see that it said Beware yet.
But regardless, I mean, after 41 and 42,
Yeah,
you have to know that whatever advantage you get, that isn't coming from whatever
yeah,
little game they play on the island.
yeah. I
That
mean,
there
hey,
is going to be like, some risk involved. And especially since the last two seasons pre-merged, they had a Beware thing. Granted, they had passwords
mhm,
to activate it. Yeah, it was risky. He's lucky in the sense of like, okay, it wasn't like not like a password or
yeah,
because they can't like replicate that again because
yeah.
everyone would know. But like he's lucky with something that was actually achievable, that it was something he specifically was able to
Yeah,
do.
which I will say the beads I actually like better than the passwords for a gameplay perspective. I think for television, the passwords are really funny. Like they
Yeah.
gave us a lot of laughs. But I think for like the game of Survivor, I think the fact that you have now tied an idol to a social play, I think is great. I think if we can tie more idols to social prowess, I think it's better.
No, I do think that was pretty cool, especially since it's not dependent on other tribes
Yeah.
doing their stuff. However, just like knowing that in 41 or 42, them doing that, hell, if I went out on 45 and 46 and I was in his shoes, if I saw a package, regardless if I saw the Beware or anything on there, I'd be a little cautious of opening it because I'm like, oh, I know in like, the 40s of Survivor, they
Mhm.
like to do these little pitfall things and, you know, require an activation, and until it's activated, I lose my vote.
Uh-huh.
So it's like moving forward, you have to be a bit more aware of that stuff, which is why I think code. It's why it's coding
Listen,
perplexes me.
he made up for it. So that's the most
He
important thing
made
with
up for
Survivor
it.
is if you can make up for it, and if he can consistently make up for his impulsiveness and his like I have to do this kind of mantra. I think he can be fine. I think he can make it further in this game.
I
Um,
clearly he did, but like
yeah.
I'm like this guy. I'm just thinking, just moving forward, he is too much of a wild card to kind of consider.
Uh-huh.
You know, I to like bring further in the game, he is kind of like confirmed.
Yeah.
He cannot really be trusted to his own devices.
Yeah, I think if we get next episode another like backstory of Cody, I would be very confident in saying that he is a serious winner contender.
I mean, if it does happen, we're just going off of two episodes.
Yeah.
Like my interest in Cody and stuff went up, and even how he was able to, navigate everything with activating the idol moments before tribal council and stuff. I do give him credit for that.
Mhm.
However, it's just the fact that he did it right before tribal council and not thinking things through, which makes me, like if I was in like Jesse's or NECA's shoes moving forward, I'm like, do I really want to go with this where we have Dwight and
Mhm.
Noel who seem a bit more level headed?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
that's all.
I
That's
see.
why that's why I think he can make it further in this game. But I do think like his social aspect, even though it's good, it's like, well, do I really want to have faith with this man with lack of foresight?
Yeah. Now he does want to get rid of Dwight. I will say that. I was like looking a bit on the Jesse side. He definitely wants to get rid of Dwight because Dwight wants to get rid of those kind of players.
Yeah, of
So
course.
if Dwight goes home pre-merged, I think that would be good for his game. It's very important for him to identify the people who do not want crazy people on the game because some people are fine with having those crazy people because they want to be able to try to control them. Some people are like what you're saying; they just want to get them out. They don't even want to deal with this, and it's important for him to be able to figure out who those people are and align himself with the side that does want to keep him because they think they can control him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right now Cody is playing I don't want to. He's playing a decent enough game. I don't want to say good game because of that error. He was able to fix the error, but I'm still like,
listen, made entertaining TV, and that's all I care about on Survivor.
I do really think that this was a really great episode of Survivor in general.
Agreed.
And yeah, like this was very entertaining. We got pretty much a lot of stuff from everyone with only Coco lacking. It's just like, it's Cody. I don't want him to be taken out or anything. I'm just like thinking from a strategic standpoint. This man is dangerous to keep around.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, do we want to get into our last section here, MVP and LVP?
LVP. I am, even though I think she had a decent enough edit this episode, I do want to give it to Ellie for 2 reasons.
You're giving her the LVP.
Yes. Well, I mean, like, it's hard to, I can't give it to Cody because he did fix his mistake, but he's not worthy of MVP.
Yeah.
I think LVP with Ellie is mostly because of like, I think moving forward, she's not in a great position. She also missed out on the idol. That was like, she was like right there.
Yeah, but people do that all the time.
Well, I feel like other than like, well, who do you think for LVP? Because I don't really.
I would give it to NECA. I think that was one of the worst challenge performances ever. And if she wasn't with people who are willing to like go out to bat for her, she would have been the guaranteed. I think there's also a little bit of a case for Justine. She clearly did dig herself into that hole and kind of kept herself there. And I won't keep the like she gave her bead to Cody. Like I don't even hold that against her. I think
no, because like that's never happened on Survivor before. So why would you think?
Yeah, so I don't count that against her. But I would probably say NECA. I think NECA is also going to be getting the purple edit on the season. I can already tell like they're not showing us a bunch about her. You know, they're definitely kind of like just showing her around Cody and Jesse more than her actually telling us like what's going on. And we can tell she's got a great personality. Her moment at tribal council with Jeff, you need to see us Nigerians watching Survivor. Like that was a great moment, but like you don't get that anywhere else other than like at tribal council there. So I would probably say NECA. I think NECA did more like, wow, that was not a good look for NECA than Ellie not having a good look for Ellie.
I think the things that kind of like help out NECA in that case, because I was considering her, but I think the things that kind of like save her is that she's able to like have this alliance with Cody and Jesse where it is tight, where in spite of her like, ability in this challenge, they're willing to keep her and everything like that. And also playing a part in the bead thing, playing along with, Cody and it's like, hey, yeah, let's get these beads and stuff. Granted, part of it was doing because like, with Cody losing his vote, means it's also like, okay, things might get tied, or this might be a thing, well, will Jesse actually really want to stay with me instead of like going to rocks or something like that? Because, oh, wait, Dwight can't vote because he already lost his vote. And if Cody can't vote, then it might be a 2-2 split. And then like Jesse may not be inclined to keep me around if it's a lot easier to keep Justine, even though he doesn't trust Justine, but maybe Justine is better in challenges in their eyes.
Mhm.
So like it was a little bit of a thing where she also kind of had to help Cody get the number as well. Because
Uh-huh.
like in case of like, you know, a flip on her from Jesse.
Mhm.
Um, so like I feel like there is a bit more merit to where she is, and especially like moving forward. Like I don't think she goes home next episode unless she
Yeah.
really takes a challenge and it was like
Yeah.
really, really bad.
Yeah, well, I guess what I'm saying is like I think because of last week, she was able to get those bonds with Cody and Jesse, which saved her this week.
Yeah.
But I'm judging it more just like this episode. No, does not matter what happened last week. Doesn't matter about all that stuff. Just purely on this episode, that was like every time we cut to NECA on the challenge, she was not doing anything, or she dropped the bag and not putting it on there. She in the snake pit as well, she was like
Yeah.
she didn't help the snake at all. She just like kind of would like hang on to the caves and then fall down and be like, oh no.
Yeah. That's fair.
So she definitely, I think, lost the challenge for them. Like I think she was the reason they end up losing. um so that's where I would probably say that.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then what about MVP? Who are you looking at as MVP? I have my candidates.
My candidate is Jesse because
Same.
I feel like
Same.
same, yeah.
Mhm.
Because I feel like, well, I mean, there was a lot on his side when it came to like gameplay. Also, having that fourth with, having like a unofficial fourth member of an alliance or like someone where it's like he may be useful, he may not be with
Mhm.
Dwight. Also, being able to like help Cody with, getting his beads that he needed, as
Mhm.
well as like I feel like going forward, I feel like just how the team is right now, he's probably the one person that's guaranteed to make it to the or at least mergatory. Because if I'm
Yeah.
thinking about like everyone else, Cody's wildcardness could get him eliminated. Noel and Dwight could be purely because they're on the outs.
Mhm.
And then with NECA, it could be a thing where, okay, maybe they really want to keep the tribe strong. And if she has like a repeat of that performance, especially where
Mhm.
Baka has to lose another challenge before they can sit anyone out again.
Mhm.
Um, that's kind of like an important thing to like keep in mind. It's like, okay, well, the person we get until like Baka, or if Coco loses two people in a row, we aren't able to sit out anyone. So
Uh-huh.
going forward, that could be a thing. Which leaves Jesse, which is like right now a triple threat,
Yeah.
which I think he's pretty safe going into the merge
Yeah. I
or the mergatory.
his win equity has skyrocketed, I think, between first episode and this episode. This episode, he tied confessional accounts this episode with Cody. Like Cody, who was this crazy character, had the same amount of confessionals as Jesse, who is not as crazy a character, but is in such a good position. He's able to be pretty much in the talks with everyone. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, I think Jesse has huge shots on this tribe to win. He's probably the most likely on this tribe to win the game. Um,
agreed.
uh, Also, I noticed one of my notes that I forgot to bring up. Just a quick little one. I noticed Sammy said it would be stupid to lose to them. So I think potentially Sammy is going to be a finalist with potentially Ellie, and maybe Ellie wins. Um,
That could be an hypothetical.
Like the Survivor loves to do that. They love to put early on like little context clues about what's going to happen in the future, like foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, just something I thought that could be interesting. I wanted to bring up here before we end it here.
No,
Um,
that's fair. Survivor or not just Survivor, Universe likes to do that. You say one thing and then like, oh wait, yeah, I might have doomed myself or jinxed myself by saying that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so good
exactly.
eye, good eye.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you gotta keep the lookout. I also think Geo might be in some trouble because they were giving him a lot of this personal content, but I think it's clear that he's on the outs. I think there's a good chance that they're just trying to really tell Gio's story before
Yeah.
potentially him maybe going out like Mergatory, because I could see Coco just winning until then, and they take out someone from Coco just because.
Yeah. Because I don't see, at least if they do go pre-merge,
Mhm.
I don't see them wanting to get rid of Ryan because
Yeah.
Ryan has been extremely useful on their tribe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. If we're looking at Gio or Ryan, which one do you keep? I mean, like,
yeah.
Gio's a great guy. Like, I can tell, he's fun and everything, but like, from a tribe perspective, like Ryan is winning challenges. He's providing for the tribe, and
He's
Gio's.
leading them in a group exercise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's at least guaranteed probably one boot on that tribe.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to if they have to go again,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a bit up in the air.
yeah,
Because I don't think like he's doomed to be at. I think it also depends on when it is as
yeah.
well.
I mean, I think this tribe at most goes once pre-merge. I think that's the most that this tribe would go. Um, assuming they don't get Orion. I think if they get Orion, I think they could downhill spiral. But if they just don't get rid of him, I think that's the only tribal that they would go to.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Okay. That does it. Do you have any more final thoughts on the episode?
I do have one final thought. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joe King. Happy birthday to you.
And there you go.
Yes, this episode is being filmed and released on his birthday.
Yep.
So we gotta appreciate this man for one. He's the person that decided to do the podcast and invite me on.
Mm-hmm.
He is constantly plugging away, doing a bunch of different cool stuff. Whether it's teaching kids to just do stuff in general. Like this guy is great with kids and ladies. He's good with kids. And not only that, he's very creative, very funny, and he and he's constantly creating new stuff and working on new stuff, making it. So yeah, gotta give a shout out to this guy right here.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. That means a lot.
Of course.
Yeah. Turning 26. Almost there to my late 20s. So it's crazy.
You can still claim mid-20s right now.
Yeah. I still have a little bit left to hang on to that thread.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
be prepared.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So I guess that's gonna do it then for this episode of the Day After Podcast.
All right. Peace out, guys.